So one of the benefits of being a YouTuber is you get so much help from subscribers. Got a new microphone because someone said, "Hey man, something wrong with your microphone." I was like, "You know what I did straight away? Bought a new one," because the one I have before that you've had to hear my voice through is a special voice enhancing microphone. My real voice is actually far squeakier than this. No, I'm only joking. This is my real voice, but I've got a much better microphone. So hopefully you'll notice, maybe you won't, but hopefully it won't be as crackly. The old one was about a tenner, this one's about £25. So I really pushed the boat out. So thanks for your support, guys. Now this video is about a new release by Rotary. I've had a few Rotaries, but I've never actually done a review for any because it's not really connected with them quite enough. But this one I have. This one is incredible, and I think it's going to be a massive hit. If it isn't, I don't know why, because it's got the brand name and the heritage, and it's a British design watch, all that behind it. Yet it's got really good price. 250 is the recommended retail, but you can get them for less for the top whack one with ceramic bezel and a really nice solid bracelet. Now I'm showing you one today. I've got the Hulk version with the silicone bracelet, a bracelet strap. And I've also got up in this pot here, my friend Jim, he lent me, he bought one as well, because he was like, "Oh, I've got to get one as well." And he got the one with the bracelet. So I can show you how good the strap and the bracelet is. So that's a first. So it's just helpful to show you. And I'm also, just to show you how much of a strap monster this is, how versatile it is, I'm going to show a few of my straps. Got to get them in there. But that won't dominate the video. You're going to see stats and specs, a little slideshow, my thoughts and opinions, a bit of a slideshow of some straps, and then that'll be the end of the video. So I hope you've enjoyed my very long intro, and I'll see you shortly. So here is the beautiful Rotary Super 7. Let's start with the stats and the specs, because you're going to need to know that. I've weighed this on Gipas, my trusty weighing scales, and it's 120 grams on this silicone strap. And now we're going to move on to the dimensions. So I'm going to use my trusty sliding measuring tool. And the case size of this watch is in inches. You need millimeters. It's a 42 case size. And the thickness, the height of the watch is nearest diameter 14. I know these are 22mm lug width. And the length of the watch, the lug to lug as it's called, 47.7. And now this crown, I always measure the crown because that's the bit I like to fiddle with a lot. That is 6.3. Then the next thing you're going to need to know is what this is made of. Well, it's your standard 316L stainless steel. The bracelet, I keep calling it that, the strap is silicone rubber. Sorry, my desk is very wobbly. The bezel insert is aluminium. You can get these with the ceramic, but they're only black. So if you want something with a bit of colour to it, i.e. the green one, and they do a Pepsi bezel insert, that'll be aluminium as well. Rotaries always come with sapphire glass, which is great. As we know, 99.9% of all watches that say sapphire is actually synthetic. So there's the glass covered. Then this has got really good lume. I'll show you that in a bit, because I need to discuss the movement. This is a Miyota movement. The Miyota movement is not too bad. I'll say not too bad as it's, you know, we're being fussy, but it is a good value watch. We know for value watches you can get the NH35 and things like that, which from Seiko, and they have a little bit of an extra feature. This would have had the NH36 if they went for the Seiko variation of this movement. And day and date complication. Let's get this out of the way. So day and date, but then you don't have hacking. So if you want to be a real nerd like me and set the time exactly, you can't stop the seconds hand unless you run it completely down dead. It does have hand winding though. It's weird, they've got like that feature, but they haven't got hacking. So it's great. It's not bad, and there's no rotor wobble to be concerned about really. You might occasionally hear it. Really, you can't even. I can't even hear that now. Just giving it the shake. Just well insulated in there. Some watches you're wearing with this movement, and it sounds like you've got something screeching around in there. You know, it's got a squeaky rotor, but no, this is fine. You know, you don't really notice it. So that's acceptable. So these movements are great because they do keep reasonably good time. They're reliable, robust, and they're cheap to buy in bulk from companies, so they can make their watches cost effectively. So I just love the design. That is good, but I'll go into that in a bit more detail after I've covered the last few bits of the spec, and that is I haven't discussed the loom yet. And I'll do that after I've discussed the bezel, which is a unidirectional, so it goes one way, it goes this way, 120 click. And it's got, I'll just go up to my microphone so you can hear the clicks. Really good quality. I mean, a lot of us, it's weird, I don't actually use the bezel for anything other than a fidget tool. You know, I'm sitting there nervous, I fiddle with my watch. I'm sure a lot of you guys do that. The tactile aspect of it is fantastic. Look at the depth of that. It is huge, and it's got a really good grip to it without feeling sharp. So they got that done really well. So that's what you want from a bezel. It needs to be practical and easy to use, easy to grip, and not feel too loose either, because it gives you that feeling of reassurance when it feels solid and good quality. As does the crown. This threads so smoothly, so easy to use. Even though it is arguably a little bit too small, maybe 1 to 2 mil too small for this size of watch, it's still easy enough to turn. The knurling's neat and easy to turn. But I digress. The last bit of spec I'm going to show you now is the loom. And they've done a great job with the loom on this watch. You can see the minute hand is like a minty blue, as is the pip at the 12 o'clock. And the rest of it all, on everything, is that gorgeous green. You know when it's been well applied, the loom on a watch, when I'll get it real close, look how smooth that is. It's got that quality application. That means there's been more layers, and I don't know, I can't find anywhere how many layers have been put on it, but it's enough. That's all you need to know. There's enough on there, and that means it lasts longer and it's going to be brighter and stronger. So, which is what you want from a dive watch, even though again it's just a bit of a fad to have really good loom, but why not do it properly? And it's great to have it at this price point. So the stats and the specs are covered. I'm just going to cover a bit more again about the materials. It's got lots of lovely polishing on here and brushing, and it's been machined really well. A bit of a Seiko SKX style bulging, if you will, bulbousness to the case, and stubby lug to lug. So that helps with this watch wearing so well. But even though it is a 42 case size and it's relatively thick, nearly 14 mil, it works really well. It's really well proportioned. Now, sorry, change the subject slightly there, but the strap is silicone rubber. It's really soft and comfortable. It's a little bit of because of silicone, it does attract lint and dust and feel a little bit sticky. It's not sticky as in you can feel like that sticky. It's more the texture. It's nice. It's very soft and supple. But I'm going to be showing you an upgrade in material shortly. So I do love this buckle. It's got the engraving Super 7 on there. So the branding's good. It's consistent. They've got it on the keeps here as well. Super 7. It's a good quality strap. They could have done a lot worse. And that's even on there. It's really nice. Good consistent branding. As is on the case back, screw case back. Giving a few bits of spec and details on there. 300 meters. Sapphire glass, stainless steel, made by Rotary. I love this frosting effect they do. The raised polished Super 7 on the back. That's really good. And the rest of this bit is brushed as well. Normally this bit on a lot of watches is all polished, which drives me mad. But again, it's just a nice contrast of polish and brushed. Just takes it up a bit in terms of classiness, having a few polished areas on the watch. So yeah, I think I've covered all the stats and the specs for you. Now I'm going to do a little slideshow to show you a few pictures, but because the weather's been so grim lately, thanks to the British autumn, I haven't been able to go out and do some nice shots quite yet, but we've got a few little shots for you. So do enjoy, and I hope to see you shortly. So now you've seen the watch in its standard form, you're going to need to see what it's like on its other standard strap / bracelet. So I'm just going to swap this out and put it on the bracelet. I'm thanking Jim for lending me his bracelet. He's put it on one of my straps, his watch. So he had this bracelet knocking around spare. So he said, why don't you stick it in your next review so people can see how good the bracelet is. So let's have a look. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've literally spent half an hour trying to get this bracelet on this watch. It's the right bracelet, but look how red my hand is from holding the watch, trying to get these are so well machined, these solid end links. It's a compliment in a way. They're such a perfect fit. There's zero tolerance to be able to try and get these blooming spring bars. So what you do is spring bars through there, that's in there. I just couldn't, for the life of me, get one in to pop in and then I can pop the other one in. I just couldn't do it. So bear that in mind. I've done this 1,000 bazillion times on watches and I've struggled. So I know it's lazy for me to really not persevere and put this on here, but I'm just going to show you the bracelet close up before I get too cross. Now here's the clasp. You get that lovely engraving on there, fold over part. Milled clasp. Things have really moved on, haven't they? Back in the day, it used to be awful, look like made out of paper thin steel pressed things that should slice your wrist off. Actually, no, they're not that bad. I'm just being mean because what you get now for your money is so much better. Look at this. It's all brushed underneath, very nice. Then we got push pins for changing the links out. Now, this watch was huge. My friend Jim has got an 8-inch wrist and he had to take out loads of links. So this is going to fit people right up from massive wrists. I mean, if you've got a wrist much bigger than 8 inches, this watch will look too small on you. And then it's got really good diver's extension, which is very big. Can't do it on the, there we are. Huge amount of diver extension. And then micro adjust is the only downside as well. Look, only got 3. Could have had loads more. So that's a bit weird. But the finishing is lovely. It's all beautifully brushed, polished sides. Done a good job. And these solid end links are beautifully machined. In a way, it's actually good I've kept it off the watch. You can see the machining. It's not bad at all. And they, like I said before, they fit so well I couldn't bloody well get it on the watch. I don't think it was meant to be taken off and back on again. So the rubber one, the silicone, if you do regular strap changes, it's good to get the one with the standard silicone strap, because that took seconds to get off, because obviously there's loads of give and flexibility in the rubber, so it's easy to swap it out. But this is really good. So kudos to Rotary for doing a great bracelet. And I think how many more links can come out and get another 2 to 3 this side. And the same that side. So this is going to fit people down to maybe 6.5 inch wrist. That's great. Good job. Now while we're at it, I must mention I do stock straps now on my eBay store. Links in the description. But I wanted to show how good this watch can look when you upgrade and change the straps out. This is a bit of a strap monster as well, because look at the fact how good it can look on a green tropic. Because it's got a bit more, because again I love the design of this watch. It's got the more slightly heritage design aspects with also being a bit contemporary. It works so well with something as versatile as the Tropic. Now I've got for the fluoro FKM rubber. The reason why this is a step up from silicone is it doesn't have that tacky, slightly sticky texture. This isn't a lint magnet. It's ultra supple and soft. It's definitely a lot harder. The pigmentation and the color stays good forever. I mean, it doesn't deteriorate. It's less like to crack. It's extremely weather and water resistant. That's the huge step up you can get in quality if you spend a few pounds more on this kind of strap. So this one's still got a tiny bit of plastic in the middle there, but that pops out where it was stamped in this when it was manufactured. But this is so soft. I'll get it on my 7-inch wrist to show you how this looks. Perfect fit. It's a genuine design of Tropic. You know, it's got the taper down. It starts thicker, 4mm, goes down to 2mm, and then it's got that taper and a squared off tip at the end. You've got that lovely matching keep here as well. So lovely. You see why I chose these to stock these. I've only got a few of these left at the moment, but I'm going to be getting a lot more in because these are so popular, and you can see why. They work on so many watches. Now I'm going to show you on this other than leather to show if you want to make it a little bit more casual, or you're not going to get this watch wet, how cool it can look on one of those. And here we've got one of my Italian calf leather, handmade, with gorgeous graining effect on there. And this is the dark brown. Just love this because it is so soft, and the fit and finish of this strap is awesome, and it's going to complement this watch because it's got that vintage aesthetic, and brown and green are a marriage made in heaven. They're like cookies and cream. I don't know why you have to use American reference, maybe for my American audience, but or fish and chips. It's a British watch, isn't it? It's like fish and chips, brown and green. Just love it. So as you see, it's just works on so many straps, this kind of watch. It's so versatile. Here we are back on the standard again. I'll give it a buff so it may just smudgy. Yeah, it is so nice, even on this standard strap. But if you want to mix it up, there are other options. So the last part of this video is me discussing my likes and my dislikes. And then we'll move on to, you see my face again for the final conclusion. So the likes are, I love the brand Rotary. They've been in Britain for decades, but they have a mixture of making watches overseas, not just China, but other countries. And they also have Swiss made watches. So they've got an unusual mix of Swiss made and other country made, mainly China. So they've got the value range and they've got the premium range, a long established brand with lots of history. And all their watches have sapphire glass, British design. I just think they've got their own little take on the watch market, and I like that. I like that they have been around for so long. They've got a bit of classic design to them, and that's where this fits in. The design, I love the design. I love that the guy that's been involved with his team behind designing this watch with the Rotary, he obviously knows his watches. He knows what people want. He knows what people like, and this has been, it's cornered the market in terms of being a replacement for the venerable Seikos and things like that, but being actually affordable again. You know, this price is fantastic, and you get a really good spec for the money. You get everything you would need. It is a dive watch, 300 meters. All the functional tactile aspects work perfectly as to what you would expect from a dive watch. So he's nailed it, in my opinion. I know you guys definitely, I really value your opinions, and you're always forthcoming with them, and you're going to say, I like this, I don't like that. And that is awesome that you say that, because that is the beauty of reviewing. It's just my opinion, but I back up my opinions with, reasoning. And like anything, there's always going to be criticism, and I'll come on to that in a minute, because there are a few little things which bug me, but nothing major. But carry on with the likes. I like the colour, how they contrast, how well orange works so well against the green, and the fact that you've got the different colour on the minute hand, which is, the minute hand is a different colour on the hand there, because when you go diving, you want your minute hand to stand out as differently as possible, because you never dive much longer than 20 minutes or more, from my experience, hence why, not from diving, but from my knowledge, you guess we got up to 20-minute increment, and you've got the lume pip. You've got to have all those features, and for it to be a tool watch, as a dive watch, you've got to have that minute hand. As you know, the colour of the lume is different as well, so it just got to stand out. So for a quick glance, when you're in poor light conditions, when you're going down a bit deeper, or the weather's not great that day and you can't see as well, you've got that clarity, and that's what it's for. I like that they've gone, it's covering the toolish aspects properly, and it's 300 meters. It's not for going down 300 meters, because that's not far off the scuba world record. It's more for knowing you've got that reassurance of whatever depth you go, whatever abuse you put this through, whatever activity you go through, this will take it. That's purely what it's for. So peace of mind. And I love how big the indices are. They're so big and chunky, full of lume. You can see them so easily in all light conditions. They really pop. It's a real quick glance and you can see the watch. I'll take this off so I can show you underneath. That's the next like. I love the detailing and all the branding. Super 7, that's a cool name. You've got really well finished extra details on there. You've got a signed crown, S7. You've got all on the strap, on the buckle, on the keeps. It's really good branding, and it's consistent throughout, and on the dial as well. British design. The fit and finish is outstanding. It's really good. Everything lines up. There's no snots, no bad machining marks. The bezel action is spot on, a little bit stiff but could loosen up. The crown threads nicely. It's fantastic. Now, before I say that it's going to sound like it's sponsored content because I'm gushing so much, the negatives are as follows. The crown is too small for this size of watch. It should be 7 to 8 millimeters from my experience. I've got watches which are much smaller than this with bigger crowns, and they look fantastic. So imagine you're diving and you have to wear diving gloves. This would be awkward to double check screwing in tight before you go down. You want to make sure it's quick and easy to really just make sure everything's tight and ready to go in. Then, but the bezel's great. They thought of that. Could do with that being chunkier to complement the chunky bezel. The colours aren't quite matching. I'm not sure that they should be exactly the same, but you almost got two totally different shades of green. That's just me. I think they could have tried to make them exactly the same or dramatically different. Maybe you've even had a different green bezel. I don't know. Maybe but kept it ceramic and get a different finish with ceramic, which may have matched the dial. That could have worked. I'm not sure about the second hand being white. I don't know why. I just think, yeah, it looks okay, but maybe it could have been a different colour. I don't know. That's just something that I'm not quite sure about yet. And maybe not quite so much polishing on the watch, because I know over time that's going to be a scratch magnet, but yeah, it's not bad. I mean, don't know why I have problems with polishing when I actually do like the look of it. It's just maybe it annoys me how much it smudges so easily. But, you know, that's just me being a bit too fussy. And the movement's okay. It's not the worst movement in the world, definitely not. You can get a lot worse. But I think for the money, even though it's good value, you could do better. But really, that's all I could say out of dislike, which is amazing when you think about it. So let's move on to my conclusion, and then we're there. So now we have to conclude this video, and the conclusion is that as you've heard from the rest of this video, I love this watch because it's got so many good things going for it. The design, the story behind it. It's just cool that it's got a bit of a story. It's been created by someone who's got some power within the watch world, with Watch Nation, and he's a watch lover, a watch collector, a scuba diver. That's a great recipe for a watch lover and a watch fanatic, and someone who's got some influence within the industry and connections, and that's helped create a really, really good product, because that is how products that are successful are made. It's through the right collaborations, the right people. And I bought this watch because I like rotary watches, I like dive watches, what's not to like? And yeah, it's a winner. Obviously it's not perfect. I've discussed in the dislike section and my analysis as well the few things they could tweak to make it a bit better, but it's hard to be too critical of a watch like this, because it is, even though I got it a lot cheaper than even retail, it's great value. I know you can get your Chinese made watches, even though this is probably made in China, you know, the copages, homages, all those kind of watches that you often see, you can get them for less, sometimes with better spec. But we all know there's more to that when it comes to buying a watch. It's just how it makes you feel, how you look at it, the story behind it. That's what adds the invisible value, not the monetary value, but the X factor, that little extra bit that you pay that money for. Hence why Swiss-made watches, they charge a premium, because it's just that prestige and that branding and history behind it. So this has some of that as well. Rotary have a lot of history, and they are well known, and they aren't just value watches. They do Swiss-made watches. They're an unusual brand, and that's another reason why I like this watch, because it's a bit like me, a bit unusual, British, but nothing of me was made in China. I'm pure British beef, as it, well, I think. I haven't done a DNA check, but I'm pretty sure I'm British. What's that got to do with watches? But anyway, this watch is definitely fun, and it's definitely worth your attention. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, you must subscribe, because there's no real reason other than you get to see all my other videos easier, and I value your support immensely. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.